get your crushed curry cardstock. The first piece is 10 3/4, which is right there, by 5 1/8. So 5 and just 1/8 right there. Okay, second piece of crushed curry is 5 1/8. By 3 7/8. So almost 4. Okay, and then I'm going to score them. I just like to use my Simply Scored tool. The first one, I'm following along. You guys can follow along on your tutorial, okay? So I'm just on number 1 and 2 right now. Score the big one at 4 3/4 and 10 inches. Okay, so that one's done. And then the second little piece, I want it to be this, it's got to be the same length as the first one. So you can just double check that so you don't mess up. And I'm scoring this at 3/4 inches. So it's way over here. Okay. Next, I'm gluing these two pieces together. This is the outside. And I'm going to take the 3/4 inches here and there, put some Tombow glue, and then just glue them together like that. You could also have used Stamp and Seal Plus. You can, or the Terran tape. Those would be good. The only thing I wouldn't use is the old snail we used to use because I think it would pop apart eventually. Okay, so number 4 of the tutorial, we're working on the accordion fold thing, which I did in Cherry Cobbler. So I'm cutting at 11. Oh, it is 11, sorry. So it's 11 by 5 1/8, which is right there. And then I'll score it in a second. Second piece is 10 1/4 by 5/8. I'm sorry, not 5/8. 10 1/4 by 5 1/8. Okay, move this out of the way for a second. I'm going to score these. The first one is the longer one, and that I'm scoring at 5 1/8, 10 1/4. So there's 5 1/8 and 10 1/4. And the second piece is scored just at 5 1/8. Which is, this is, can you guys see? There's the 5 inch, here's 5 1/4, so it's the little notch that's right next to the 5. Okay, so now I am gluing these together, and all I'm doing with this one is putting glue on the little panel right there that's 3/4 inch. And again, I'm just using the Tombow glue because I have it out here, and once it dries, it's really strong. The thing that everybody does, the one mistake you'll make is to put too much on. So really try not to do that. And you'll line it up as well as you can. You can even put it like this so that it's really lined up well. And then you can press it down when you've got it. Okay, so here's the card, the base of your album. I'm going to make it like a book and just fold it in on itself. And then I'll do it once more. And then the other side. I'm folding right where the two different places on there too. And when it should look like this when you have it, okay? So that's your outside piece. This is the accordion fold part of the album. And I'm gonna start at the top because I want it to open like a book, you know, where it's from right to left. So I'll start with that piece and just fold it like this, accordion style. And then I'm gonna burnish the folds. And let me see, I'm putting it in so that this is the top up here, and the front flap is bigger than this little flap underneath, okay? So see how this is a little bit wider than this one. So, and then again, my accordion thing is all set and it's opening from left to right, and I want to glue it right here. And it's the same, it's just going to go right on there. So where's my glue? Here it is. If you guys mess up and do anything upside down or whatever, I think it'll still be perfectly fine, because it'll still, you know, it'll just maybe open from a different side or something. So putting that in, and again, I want to really make it as straight as I can, so I'm kind of putting it like that and then pressing it all down so it's good. I've cut some ribbon 28 inches, and I'm going to flip my album over. So this is the outside, and I'm putting tear and tape from, okay, you don't want it on this front flap or on this little skinny panel. So I'm starting, where is it? I'm going to put it down the middle, starting right there to the very end. Okay, so you don't need the tape on the inside little flap and this edge. And picking up the tear and tape with my pick-me-up tool, and then for the ribbon, you want to find where the center is, which is right about here. And I'm going to put it on the center of my back, just like that. Oops, I want to make sure I cover the tape. Okay, so that's what you get. This part is loose, so when I turn it over again, when I want to close it, this side will go in, the right side, and then the front part, and it doesn't have any ribbon stuck right there or on the edge, and the front part will close like this, and then you'll tie it right over here, okay? So that's the basics of your album. Now we get to do the fun part. Now, if you were in class, especially my first class that I had, you remember having all these little sticky notes that had numbers on them. And we would have to pass around this album. I'd have you take pictures and we'd try to remember. Now these numbers, the reason they aren't like 1, 2, 3 is because I was corresponding with the tutorial. And so number 11 was the one that had crushed curry, and then it had granny apple green, and you have the design series paper. So that was 11, and then 12 was the basic black and everything. So it corresponds with your tutorial. Well, the second class, somebody, I'm sorry I don't remember who the brilliant person was. It might have been Linda Jarman, I don't know, but they had a really good idea that will save you a lot of headaches. So here goes. Let me think, I've got to get this right. Okay, so this is like this. So they numbered them. So this is 13, because it's all covered up. Okay, and if I pull it out this way, I'm going to call this 11, 12, 13, and then if I flip it all the way over, it's 14, 15, 16, and this is like the explosion card. So yeah, you guys will be groaning at me, I know, because that would have helped you a lot in class. So now you can make another one. I'm on number 8 of the tutorial right now. You cut basic white cardstock 5 inches by 3 3/4 for the inside front flap. So I'm going to start by using Art Gallery stamp set, which I love. Just love this one. And I'm taking the big leaf image first, and I'm going to stamp it in Just Jade. I'm going to stamp off first. That's where you stamp on your paper, and then it's got just a touch of ink left, not very much. So you'll see it's really light. Then I'm going to do my flower in. You can tell there's a background image, and this one is just filling in with different colors. So I like to do, I'm going to use Flirty Flamingo for this background one. And I like how the photo polymer, I can see right where I'm stamping. That's such a pretty color. And then just for a darker one, you could do all kinds of colors with this, and they're all beautiful. I mean, you could do poppy right now. I've done that. That's really pretty. Or do a softer look with Blushing Bride with your bottom one. This one here should always be the darker one, I think. And I'm going to just guess where I think it might go. Isn't that cool? Well, that's really dark, but I like it. I was using, in my other one, I used Memento, but I think I can go ahead and just use this. It's so dark, the Cherry Cobbler, for my Enjoy the Moment. And that one comes from this stamp set called Enjoy the Moment, and it has some really nice sentiments in here. And pretty, just pretty little seed pods. I like it. Okay, so that is one down, and I'm going to glue it to the inside. Move everything. So I just kind of center it first, and then once I get it where I'm really happy with it, I press it down where it's glued. So I've got that one done. I really like it. Before you put your stamp set away and your inks, you're gonna stamp this flower that's gonna go on page 15. Okay, so just grab a scratch piece of white paper, and I'm just going to use the same inks, which is Flirty Flamingo and Cherry Cobbler. And then I'm going to take it over to the Big Shot, and there's a die cut that you can use that goes along with the Art Gallery framelits, and I'm going to cut that out and just put it aside. For the inside flap on the other side, I've cut a piece of basic white 7 inches by 3 inches, and then I scored it at 2 inches to try to make a little pocket. So I'm using this image from Art Gallery, and I wanted to make the bottom green, and so I'm just using a Stampin' Spot that I got from Paper Pumpkin, and just inking it up a bit. And I think I'll stamp that one first. And then I'm gonna just clean it. I could have done the whole thing all together, but I just didn't want to get my green on anything. So I'm inking this up with Flirty Flamingo and putting it kind of in the same spot. And then here's my other one. So here's a little stamp to highlight it, and I'm going to do it in Cherry Cobbler. There you go. I really like that, the way it does that. I'm going to make a pocket in this just for fun. You could put money or tickets. You could add a little tag with a nice note in it. Whatever you guys want. And I've cut a piece of designer series paper, 2 3/4 by 1 3/4. You could use either side. Actually, let's do this one. Just to put it on the front. And then you could either use some tear and tape, would be fine. I'm just going to use Tombow and make a really do it real close to the edge with a barely any glue, so that I have a wider pocket. I just want a little strip there, and once it dries, it'll be really good. So again, I'd use either tear and tape or Fast Fuse or Tombow like I did here. Okay, so that's just a cute little pocket to glue on the other inside flap, the narrower one. Just for fun, I made a little thing using layering squares, cut out crushed curry in another small square. And I'm gonna use just jade. Where's my flowers? I can't even remember which one this is from. But it'll be in the instructions. And then I'm using crushed curry for the flower. Glued this onto the little scallop piece, and then I'll just stick it in the pocket. There's no great reason, it's just for fun. So now we're on number 11, and we have our 5x5 piece of DSP and some little strips here. Now when I glue these together, I put a really small line of Tombow glue, not very much, and it's not right up to an edge, and because I don't want it oozing out all over the place. And then I line up my little granny apple green strip, and I'm gonna slide it to where I feel like it's pretty perfect, so I'm happy with it. And then once I get it really good, then I press it down. So now it's glued down really well. And this is going to go on 11. So I'm gluing it. Gluing the designer series paper down, and you have a couple of seconds to position it before it dries. So just wiggle it around till you're really happy, and then you press with your finger and it'll stay there really well. Let me see, this piece I am gluing on right there, just right over the designer series paper. And so number 11 matches number 14. Okay, so you can do basically the same exact thing with a red strip on the outside of 14. Now we're up to the directions for pages 12 and 16, or number 12 and 16. And this is a little pocket that we're going to place in both of them. And I'm starting out with a piece of basic black 5x4, and I'm going to use a 1.5 inch circle punch and just cut a half circle in this. And then I'm going to emboss it. And one thing is, if you guys have the embossing buddy, you may have used it on dark colors before, like black or Blackberry Bliss, and don't do that because it leaves a white powder on it and you just can't get it off. So I'm using an old favorite stamp set of mine that's retired. It's called Layering Love, but I really love these two sentiments on it. And so I'm going to use those. I'm turning on my heat gun just to get it warmed up. Using Versamark. And white powder. And you can see it change as you heat emboss it. So once you're sure that you got all of it, just stop right then, or else it'll melt out further. Isn't that cool? That looks so neat on the black. So I'm going to grab my album here, and I'm on page 12. Boy, this is a long project, isn't it, you guys? But you're going to love it when it's done. Okay, page 12. I'm starting with this piece of designer series paper. All these are cut 5x5, and sticking it down. Then for the pocket, obviously you don't want glue on this edge. You could either use a real skinny piece of tear and tape, or you can use Tombow, but just have to let it dry and it sticks really well. And this paper wants to curl because I heat it, I heated it with embossing, but it'll straighten out after a little while. If I make it. Okay, so there's that, and then I've cut some cardstock, and I'm going to glue some designer series paper on it. I'm probably going to mostly add photos to mine, but I probably will also do a little journaling and try to stick some fun things in the pockets. I don't know what yet. Okay, so you just use both sides and whatever you want to do. So there's that one, and it goes along with page 16, which I have already done. And see how they're just mirrors of each other. We're now ready to do numbers 13 and 15 that kind of go together. So I think this is my favorite Designer Series paper out of the packet. I just love that. I'm gluing this one down on 13. And this one was die cut. All the ingredients will be in the tutorial. This one was die cut, and I will stick it down. And then I'm gonna punch out 3 flowers out of Daffodil Delight with my small bloom punch. And I'm just gonna stick them down with glue dots. You could also use Tombow. And when I use my glue dots, I just press it on there and it picks up the little dot on there. There it is. And I'll put a couple of them on with a glue dot and one with a dimensional, probably a mini dimensional. You'll notice I'm not using very many dimensionals in this project, and I love using dimensionals. Oops. But the only reason is I think you're going to be, after you complete this, you're going to add pictures and different things to it, and I just want you to be able to, I don't want it to be too bulky for you. So, but you just do whatever you like. And oh, these things just look kind of neat with the album. They are from the Halloween, I think. They're called Iridescent Pearls. But I had some left over, and I thought that they looked really nice with the black backgrounds and things. So there's page 13, all done for you. And I'll flip over to 15, and this is what I've done there. It's just base your DSP, another die cut, and then this is the flower we did a long time ago. Okay, we're in the final stretch. I have no idea how long this video is going to be, so I hope it's not too bad. But this is the explosion card part that's going to go right in the center. And this is basic white, cut 6 by 6. I'm going to score it down the middle at 3 inches. And I'm going to turn it and score it again at 3 inches. And then I'm going to do one diagonal score. So I'm lining up the little points where the cutter goes, and I'm going to score right there on the diagonal. You can see how that looks. Okay, and then to fold it, there's a bone folder. Here's one. I fold it first in half, open it up, and fold it in half the other way. And then I'm going to fold it at the diagonal. Okay, and I want it to close like this towards me, but I need to force these little diagonal ones to come in towards me, or towards the center of the card. And when they do that, you'll have this nice little square, and just burnish all the fold lines really well. Okay, so it's going to pop open like this. And okay, let me grab my, here's my album. I'm putting this piece underneath my explosion card, so this will be in the background. Okay, for the top of this, I'm gluing down this one. I have a little rectangle cut out that I'm using stuff here. I'm gonna stamp. Actually, I found what these some of these stamps were from. Remember, we used this leaf and a little flower. That was from Lovely You, that has all those great sentiments in it. So I've also grabbed a leafy one. I'm stamping it in Just Shade, stamping it off, and just doing something like that. Same thing, stamping it off and making it come down. That's all right. And in Blackberry Bliss, I'm going to stamp Smile, which is from the same one. Okay, that's cute. You could totally pop it up on here, but again, I'm just being conscious of how I'm going to add so many photos to mine. So I'm going to glue it down. This is going to need some Wink of Stella when I'm done, I'm pretty sure. Okay, and let me do the ends. Actually, let me glue it on here first. Just centering it. I think that's good. And you can do these explosion cards all kinds of ways. So here's how I'm doing mine. Putting a Design Series paper at the top. And a light pink one over here. I think it's Blushing Bride or Petal Pink. I can't remember. And I'll do the same thing, kind of catty corner. And then finally right here, I'm going to use Rococo Rose and just do a little tiny cute stamp from Lovely You. And that's going to be where I'm going to write a little note to somebody. So this is really cool on the inside. I think they're going to love it. gosh, look, I'm almost done, you guys. Yay. So this flap and the front is all that's left. Okay, ready to finish up. Now for the inner flap, I'm just going to glue a piece of this there. And for the outside, I'm going to cover the ribbon there with the daisy one. And then it's going to tie together. This paper is really neat because it's got so many colors in it that you could make it so many different ways, use lots of different ribbon. And let's finish up by making a little daisy for the front to match the paper. So I'm going to use the medium daisy punch. Actually, I think this is a large daisy punch. And then the medium is the other one. One, two of them. And then I'm going to use this. This is the medium one. I'm going to use this and cut 2 pool party ones. Curl them just a little bit with my bone folder. I don't think it matters which way. Don't go too hard or you'll pull the petals off. You could just curl it with your finger too. Okay, glue dots. Here. I need a little circle. Here it is. 1/2 inch circle punch. And I'm going to punch out a piece of curry. I'm about out of these. I'll use 2 glue dots to get this on really well, and then just stick it on my album. Ooh, it's really looking good. And then I'm just going to use one of these really cool things that I can't remember the name of, but they're really pretty. Oh my gosh, wasn't that a project? Well, good deal. Congratulations for following along with this. I hope you guys love your albums, and let me know if you have any questions. Okay, you'll have to send me photos. I'd love to see what you put inside and stuff. Okay, take care. Thanks so much.